You're listening to Linked AM. Tell your story on Linked Live and get noticed. You're listening to Karl on the Business Class Show and is not always affiliated with the guests and the topics discussed. Any financial statements are the opinions of the individual, and you should seek professional advice before making any decisions. Upgrade your listening to Business Class, the show that puts you in the big leather comfy seats. So sit back and enjoy our take on the trending business issues of the week.
Howdy, folks. Here he is, the Texas Brit, the guy with the stiff upper lip, filling his 10-gallon hat and his cowboy boots, Karl Wolfenden.
Good morning, and welcome to Linked AM here on Business Class News. And yes, look at this. We're in our lovely new studio, virtual studio. And so it's all good stuff. We're moving on. I think that the confidence in the market is getting a lot better. And so it's one of those things where, I started thinking about what do we need to start doing to start, at the end of the year, I start saying you need to start planning for the new year. But now we've got to start thinking about, well, now things are getting more confident out there. We need to start thinking about what we're going to be doing with, our wealth and things like that, and how we save. And because, at the moment, I think a lot of us have been using some of our nest egg to really get through this past couple of years. And so it's one of those things where we've got to start rebuilding, or if you're just starting to think about it, how do you start rebuilding as such? So I've got a friend of mine that I've known for years now, and he's actually in the studio at the moment. So I've got Gerald in the studio. He's right next to me here. And, Gerald Hendrik, of course, he's the principal and owner of Rockwall Wealth Advisors. Hello, Gerald. How are you?
Hey, Karl. Thank you so much for having me. It is an honor and great seeing you. You look great.
Oh, and same to you. I mean, my goodness. I mean, I keep seeing all these great things that you're doing. And that's what prompted me to say, you got to come on the show because, Rockwall Wealth Advisors, the word fiduciary is out there, isn't it? So first of all, before we get into the nitty gritty of why people need to start thinking about this, tell us more about your company and why fiduciary is really important.
Yeah, so I opened up Rockwall Wealth Advisors last year in the middle of the pandemic. Go figure, right? And Rockwall Wealth Advisors, we're an independent wealth management firm based in Rockwall, Texas, and really help high net worth individuals all over the state. We can help them all over the country, but of course our focus is to help people right here in our backyard in DFW area. So we're an independent fee-based fiduciary, and fiduciary is basically a fancy word for having to do what's in our client's best interest. And it sounds, why is that even needed to be said when we're dealing with clients' money? But there's the kind of the broker-dealer side, the RIA side. And so we're a registered investment advisor, and we do not work on commissions. We don't sell a product. We don't have shareholders that are wanting us to do something. So we really have the client's best interest at heart. And that's what I've worked for. Some great companies, had some great mentors, some of them. I think some of them have been on your show, Ralph, and a few others. But, just going out on my own has been an absolute blast. And being a fiduciary for my clients is something that is just, it's an honor and very glad to do so.
Well, I think it's important to just clarify what you just said there because, as you say, there are products out there. You don't sell specific products, do you? As such, you go out and find what's in the best interest of the client. And so the fact that you're fee-based is you're working on behalf of your client really to find the best, return on their investment as such, and not be really distracted with some of the products that could, be the shiny thing over here, and then we go and do that. You're looking at the long-term, the holistic point of view, aren't you?
Yeah, so we use academic-based research with all of our clients and want to really just get our clients in the best possible solution for them. So you're right. We look at our main approach. We're not trying to get anyone rich overnight. We want to look at a long-term growth strategy for every one of our clients, or income strategy or preservation of capital strategy for our clients. And yes, there's so many people out there that, they get paid commission on option A, B, and C. So of course they're going to present option that gives them the highest commission or payout first. Where with someone like myself or an independent fee-based fiduciary, it doesn't matter if it's option A, B, or C. I'm not getting paid more one way or the other. So I'm always trying to present what is best case for the client. So yeah, whether it's it really just puts me on the same side of the table as the client, Karl.
Right. You're part of their team. You're part of their team. You're there to sort of, in their best interest, for sure.
You nailed it on the head. You nailed it on the head.
Yeah. Well, I try and nail things on the head now and again. I should have been a joiner or a carpenter, as they say over here. But anyway, but you talk about, the past few months. And it looks like it's going to be a couple of years. I mean, last year, I kind of just deleted it off my complete, journal of being in life. 2020 did not. I call it a skip year, a skip year, and not a leap year, a skip year. I've skipped it, and of course we all, we're hoping that on New Year's Eve, the strike of midnight, everything go poof, and it'll be all back to normal. But it didn't quite work that way, and I think we still have a long road ahead of us. And so one of the things I think focus of people at the moment is how do I survive this, what is there out there that can help me? And so are you able to sort of go in and sort of say, well, let's just sit down, talk, let's look at the portfolio of what your wealth assets look like, and see what can be done? Because I think I mentioned in my prelude, my intro, that a lot of people have been pulling from their nest egg just to get through, as such. And so, are you able to help people like that?
Yes, you said it very well in regards to 2020, and 2021 hasn't been much of a change so far. But if anything, if we've learned anything about 2020, it's that change is going to happen, and we have to be able to pivot. And pivoting can be just hunker down and keep doing what we're doing, being more disciplined, or it could be having to get a new job, taking care of a loved one if someone passed away, unfortunately, relocating. These are all things that are huge financial decisions that we're faced with. And this was totally unexpected. But as a financial advisor and a financial planner, we have to hope for the best. We prepare for the worst, right?
Right.
So again, these are things that major life changes are happening and affect. If it hasn't happened to you directly, it's probably happened to one of your loved ones. So yeah, sitting down, figuring out exactly where you are today, where you want to be, and figuring out a way to get from point A to B in the most efficient and effective way is going to be what's important. It's not so much having to make all these changes, but people need to know where they are right now, because that could definitely have a huge impact on where they're going based on any changes or figuring out just what's your net worth. A lot of people don't know what their net worth is.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah. I know, and it is. It's a science, and I applaud you for what you do, because I have no idea. But anyway, so what are you seeing out there at the moment? In terms of, are you seeing confidence coming back in the market and a brighter future? I mean, you say plan for the worst as such, but are you seeing that there's a change in attitude out there? Do you think?
I think so. The market's just in a weird stage right now. I mean, with everything that's going on, I think just this morning we had the Dow hit new record highs. So it is volatile, and now we have there's a lot of noise and smoke in the market. But yeah, I think overall the market's pretty optimistic. We as Rockwall Wealth Advisors, we're optimistic about the market. And again, our whole philosophy is let's use academic research to navigate what the market's giving us, but also just, put our head down and have that core long-term strategy and not worry about what the market's doing today or tomorrow. We have to have confidence that over time, the market's going to go up and to the right. So that's the approach we're always going to take. We're not going to listen to the news. We're not going to discredit what's going on right now, but we have to have confidence that, companies that have great earnings potential, that are doing the right thing, that they're going to prevail whether the market goes up or down this year in 2021.
So how do you work with your client? So let's if somebody's watching this now, listening to it on the podcast, etc., and they say, okay, yeah, I hear what Gerald's saying. How does it work? I mean, do you just sit down and tell me through the process rather than me tell you? Yeah, I'm asking. Yeah, that's what I just asked you.
So we have to make sure first and foremost it's just a good fit. That we're a good fit for you. I have 2 paraplanners. I have a tax team that kind of works side by side with. So we have to make sure we're a good fit first and foremost. That our personalities gel. That we can trust one another. And then once we get through that process, what we try to do is create a very unique strategy. We don't have, with some strategies we implement 3. There's with the portfolio to see if the philosophy and the methodology align with what the client's looking for. But ours specifically is we have to have some beta allocation. And that's just you set it and forget it. That's what's going to stay the same. It's not going to rotate with what the market's giving us. And that's going to be kind of your core set of assets. Think of it maybe as the S&P or total stock market index. It's not an active strategy. We like to pair that with 2 others, the next one being a active part of the portfolio. And that's going to basically take what the market's giving us. So that means we might have to get off the highway and take a detour, right? And avoid bad weather, or if there's a big wreck ahead, we want to get out of the way, go around it with an active strategy. But then we also want to complement that with a diversifying strategy. So the first thing I said was the beta. That's going to be just, let's get on the highway and we're going to go. The second would be active. That could be taking a detour or avoiding bad weather. The third is diversifier. And that's going to be something that doesn't necessarily, it's going to be outside the box thinking, something that's not necessarily relying on what the market's, it's not as correlated to the market. So it could be an alternative investment or a derivative that's designed to get a set rate of return, no matter if the market's going up or down. So you pair those 3 and you have a very, very sophisticated portfolio, a sophisticated approach to what we're doing. And that's one of the things that also sets us apart is a lot of these advisors, and to each their own, but they usually only have one of those 3 pieces, where we're combining all 3 pieces in a fiduciary manner. So if through that process, if that's a good fit, we go over that proposal with them, present it to them. At that time, they're still not clients. And if they agree with everything that we've said, it's a good match, then they can decide if they want to work with us or not. But what I love is that it's a complimentary consultation. It's a complimentary review. If a client, we basically want to give the clients the answers to the test. So we say, this is what we would do if we were in your shoes. Now, you could take this proposal and implement it on your own, or if you'd we would love to help you as well. So it's kind of just giving them enough information so that they can make the best decisions for themselves moving forward.
So once you've done that and they said, yeah, we feel that you're a great fit and you think they're a great fit, etc., do you meet with them on a quarterly basis, a biannual basis? How does that work? I mean, so because I'm sure that they'll say, yeah, well, I want to understand how it's working as it goes along. How do you keep in touch with people?
Yeah, great question, Carl. So we're going to meet with our clients. Typically, when we first come on board, we meet with them a little more often just to get things settled up, set up the plan, get everything squared away. But after that, it's usually once a quarter until, we'll gradually move to about 2 times a year. So at the first of the client relationship, we're usually meeting with clients once a quarter. Yes, sir.
Fantastic. Well, I tell you, Gerald, I think this has been a very educational piece. And I'm going to put all the information on Business Class News. And of course, we'll be sharing this to all our world. We're growing it all the time. And we just got added to Pandora, iHeartRadio. We just like, oh my goodness, it just keeps going on. So you're going to be a worldwide famous person. I know you say you're really focusing on Texas and DFW, but you never know. You might be flying to London next week. You never know.
Perfectly fine with us.
Well, Gerald, thank you so much for joining me this morning, and I really enjoyed the conversation. And as I say, planning and making sure you've got all of those things in place is so important, especially right now. So I look forward to keeping in touch, and I think I need to have you back on the show so that we can, do a little bit more of an update of where we're going in this crazy world we live in at the moment.
Yeah, I encourage everyone that's listening to this, whether it's me or someone else, find someone that you trust, a trusted professional. Make sure they're a fiduciary. First and foremost, I think that's so very important. Make sure they're a fiduciary, and just find out where you are. Get a complimentary review. Figure out where you are, because you just want to make sure you don't let anything fall through the cracks. Tax optimization, investment management, financial planning. You have to figure out where you are, and so we'd be honored as a company if that was us. But again, I just want to steer you in the right direction. So,
well, I tell you, just to add to what you just said, we've always said that no man is an island, and so that you need to have people that are specialists in different areas. If you're an entrepreneur that's going out and doing a startup, etc., you need experts to come in and deliver different things. If you're a high net worth person, it's great. You've worked hard, you've done all this stuff, but you need a specialist to be in your corner to make sure that all that is being looked after and it's working for you. And having a company like Rockwall Wealth Advisors and yourself and your team. And the technology that you have. I mean, you use a lot of technology, because that's one of the things that I saw when I was going through the research. You use academic research, but you have a lot of technology to your fingertips that is going to help them out, isn't there? Let's just touch on that real quick.
Yeah, no, you nailed it on the head. And we just use state-of-the-art technology. It's intuitive. It is. It really just lets the client see. Instead of me telling a client where they are, they get to actually see where they are, and they get to see their investments and how they're tracking over time, so that they can see the real value that not only we bring, but the progress that they're making individually as well. And so it's incredible how far the industry has came over the last 5-10 years ago. So the technology is incredible.
Well, I tell you, I really, really encourage everyone to go and reach out. The numbers underneath and the email address for Gerald and his team. So again, thanks for joining me this morning.
Hey, it was an honor, Karl. Take care.
Of course, that was Gerald Hendrik, and he's the principal owner of Rockwall Wealth Advisors. And as we just said, let's even if you just have a conversation. I mean, that's the thing. It's making that first step to say, okay, what where am I today? Where can I be? And what is out there? So I encourage you to pick up the phone and just have a chat, because that's it's just a conversation, and maybe it's a virtual cup of coffee as such with Gerald, but it's good to have that initial conversation. So thank you again, everybody out there, for watching and listening and reading Business Class News, because we have so much fun sharing this information. And as I always say, go out there, have some fun, make some money, because, hey, we're in business. It's Business Class News. Remember? Look, there it is over there. Business Class News. But also be safe out there. So have fun, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.